If you've played Apex Legends even a handful of times, I'm 100% sure that you've run into situations where your entire team goes down without even doing a single tick of damage, leaving you to 1v3 a squad. Well, what would you do in that situation? Leave the game? Run away? Pee your pants and hide? No, none of these. Well, unless you're playing Wraith, then you can leave the game. But not you, you're watching GameLeap Apex, and I'm your hostess with the mostest, 8-Second Gaming, here to drop some knowledge on you so next time you're in this situation, you can pull off that sick 1v3 carrying that e-girl you've been trying to impress and get your very own Discord kitten. But first, the new season is almost here, and with that, a new rank grind begins. So why not set yourself up to absolutely dominate by checking out the GameLeap website? We have highly in-depth courses including legend guides, VOD reviews, full videos on how to use specific guns, and more, all from top-level players. So don't wait any longer, click the link in the description and get your membership right now. But now let's hop into tip number 1, and that's you have to understand when learning to 1v3 is what power angles are and how to hold them. Power angles are spots on the map that allow you to control lots of area without opening yourself up much to being shot. Stuff like head glitches are a great example of these, but they change from place to place, game to game, and even legend to legend. You need to be able to identify a spot that would be a power angle and use it to your advantage in these fights. But don't worry, just because they do change from time to time, that doesn't mean I can't give you good places to start looking. Rocks, ledges, windows, doorways, or when in doubt, just get high ground and look down on people. That's always a solid option as well, and that's probably one that you should always default to when you have no idea what to do next. These spots allow you to take mostly positive trades, dishing out a lot of damage without taking much and not opening yourself up to being pushed. Doing this, you can make enemies be the one who make mistakes, because they will try to push you and can leave themselves very open. A lot of the time, people will overestimate their abilities when trying to push a solo, and that's a huge ally when trying to pull off these 1v3s. This may seem a little passive to a lot of players, and that's because it is. You aren't Asu, you can't full speed dive into a team and 360 headshot all of them. Get used to doing this first, and then over time you can take more and more aggressive spots until you are Asu. Now next up, tip number 2, let's talk about using cover. And I know that this may seem like it would work with the other power angle tip, but I'm serious here. I've coached a lot of players, and a lot of the time I see people get shot and not know where the nearest cover is or just don't know what to look for. Common objects like vehicles, rocks, trees, walls, and even mobile respawn beacons or lifelines ultimate can be cover. These types of areas can allow you to buy extra time to heal, jiggle peek, or even block off line of sight when retreating. Cutting off line of sight is huge, and not a lot of people understand that. If you're able to cut off information on where you're playing, you can get the jump on someone, getting first shots in and potentially one-clipping them to help you win a fight. Using cover to help you in every step of the way is huge, so whenever you start a fight, make sure to take a mental note of the best cover and how to get to it if you need to. This is something that may seem small to people, but as I've told many women in my life, it isn't about the size of something, it's how you use it. And using cover in these types of ways will help you 100% of the time. And for tip number 3, we need to get your aim dialed in. Now, most of the people that talk about this kind of tip would probably bring up your sensitivity, but I've covered that multiple times on the GameLeap channel, so if you're new here, go check out our settings videos we have done breaking down both mouse and keyboard and even controller. But what I do want to talk about here is using the right reticle color. This may seem a little weird, but trust me, it does help a lot, and you need a good reticle color to stand out and help you hit your shots. There are a ton out there, and I do highly encourage you to play around with multiple to find what is best for you, but I'm gonna break down some to help you out. First off, I'm gonna give 2 that are PC only, then I will give 2 that console can use also. Okay, so for the PC one, this does involve you going to your AutoExec files and typing in plus reticle underscore color and then open quotation, the 3 number values, then close quotation. And the first one I used to use is a super bright neon blue that stands out in a ton of areas. It's -255, 255, and then 1255. If you find the neon too bright, you can lower the last value from 1255 to something like 500. Play around till you like what you see. Now the next one is a neonish green that I've recently swapped over to, and I really like it. It does blend in a bit with most backgrounds, but our eyes are most sensitive to the color green, meaning we have easier times distinguishing between greens. This one is 0, 295, 0. A lot easier than the last one. And now for console players, the green that I would suggest you use is 62 on red, 255 on green, and 19 on blue. When you type that in, the numbers can change after, but don't worry, that's perfectly normal. And next up, I would recommend trying out cyan. Literally just use the preset one, it's actually really good and stands out in a lot of areas. These are basic, but until console can alter your auto-exec files, these will have to do. But what about tip number 4? Well, that's going to be when to push a team. Sometimes when fighting 1v3, you need to be the aggressive one and take space on teams. You're going to want to push off high amounts of damage, something like a knock and a crack, 2 knocks, 2 cracks, 3 cracks, just something where they will be more focused on healing and you can take aggressive angles to finish off a kill. Having a god nade or a 1 clip, or even that they are just super split and you can single somebody out in a 1v1 are great times to push because you have an advantage that you need to pressure. You will most likely mess up from time to time when trying to push somebody, but learn from your mistakes and build up knowledge on when you can or can't push off damage and then just move on from there. Now for tip number 5, let's talk about baiting a res. This is a technique where you play around a teammate who is downed. You're in a stalemate with the other team. You can't push them and they can't push you. You don't have nades or even a clue on what to do. How do you win this? Well, you want to start reviving your teammate. This will play an audio cue, making them think you're trying to stick a res and get a teammate up, but little do they know you canceled it right away and are aiming at the angle they are about to peek. They overcommit, making a mistake, and you're able to win the fight. This is a huge technique a lot of high-level players use and abuse to win their fights, and it's one I highly recommend new players learn how to do. This can make a ton of people mess up in fights and allow you to easily clean up whoever is left in your 1v3. And now for tip number 6, understanding you won't win them all. 1v3s are hard, even top level pros struggle with them because sheer numbers can easily win fights. You have to come to terms that some fights just aren't winnable, and that's perfectly fine. You tried your best, it happens. Even if you hold the power angles, bait reses, have meta characters or weapons, there will always be times that it just doesn't go in your favor. You can't let that go to your head because if you do, you will start to tilt and you'll start playing worse because of it. Don't worry if you lose a 1v3 because the next game is a new one and nothing before that matters. Just don't dwell on the past, it won't fix anything. 1v3s are hard and they take a ton of time and skill to master. But hopefully with these tips, you'll be able to start seeing certain situations and fights over and over, and then you'll notice patterns. Those patterns will allow you to remember what to do and how to take fights. They may not be exactly the same game to game, but you'll know what I'm talking about when you see it. I hope you guys learned something from this video, and if you did, remember to smash that sub button and ring the bell to stay up to date with our new videos coming out. Season 12 is coming right around the corner, so you're not going to want to miss any of these. Thank you all for watching. Once again, I'm 8 Second Gaming, and I will see you in the next one.